Millions of Gilgoniacs worldwide, fans of Austin Rugby in all corners of the United States, all corners of the world. Welcome back once again. It's the Austin Rugby Podcast. That's Alex Reese. I'm Dustin Zare. Alex, man, we just keep rolling. Another good week of rugby. I think there was an exciting match this past weekend for Major League Rugby, but we're not starting with that. We're starting with a real exciting match. And we're talking about none other than the Austin Darby Huns Blacks Nixon Lane this past Saturday. Man, look, Alex Reese put in a performance, friends. If you go back and watch the tape that was on the Austin Rugby Austin Rugby Supporters Group channel and Texas Rugby Monthly, you got to watch the entire match live stream. It was fantastic. Final score, Huns. That's it. Final score, Blacks 17, Huns 39, friends. That's Alex, as a Hun, how's it feel but really to put, I mean, I watched it. I saw every play, every move you made, every breath you take. And man, I'll tell you what, in all honesty, no joking aside, you dominated the entire match. What was that like out there in the field that day? Because, you know, we've talked about in the past about the Huns kind of building back up ever since the elite split off and kind of the rivalry with the Blacks. What was that like out there on the pitch on Saturday and that great match that you guys put out?
It was a lot of fun. It felt, it was nice. I felt like, collectively as a unit, we really dominated the physical aspect of the game. And I think that's an area in the past where we've been good for 30, 40 minutes. And then, just the Blacks will keep coming at you and hitting you. And I think in the past we've worn down from that. So it was cool to be able to get out there and really dominate the collisions and then continue to dominate the collisions for the course of 80 minutes. I think a lot of credit goes to just Coach Adam Scheidler and the coaching group, Brian Wellborn in particular, just really coaching us up, the last basically like 5 months, honestly, and just really working on owning that, those 2 meters before and after contact. And I think that you could really see it out there this weekend.
Yeah, I think you definitely saw that. I saw that. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, you jumped out to a 12-0 lead to start off with, right? And you scored back. Yeah. Because unfortunately, your 10 did not make the first. Was it the first kick you missed, and the second one you did?
No,
the first one you made, the second one you missed, right?
No, the first one I literally chunked it. It's like I actually went and played golf on Sunday with my dad.
Big old divot in the back.
Yeah. When you just completely chunk a chip and it goes like, like 10 feet.
Alex kicked the ground about 3 or 4 inches before the ball.
caught a lot of tee. I switched over. I shouldn't say I switched. I didn't know where my normal tee was. I was using that like telescope tee where the ball kind of perches up on top. Yeah. And I usually kick the ball off of the kind of like the Johnny Sexton style tee.
Yeah.
And just totally chunked it and hit the tee and the ball. I think maybe went 20 yards tops.
Yeah.
It was ugly.
Obviously,
but
flags did not go up, but after 5-0 lead. But you redeemed yourself in the next one, and a couple conversions later. But yeah, really, honestly, I wrote Coach Scheidler as well on his Facebook post, and I said that all credit to the Blacks, who do always have an outstanding team. You guys were just on a different level that day, and the quality of play, the interlinking that you guys had. I picked a man of the match. I don't know his actual name, but Red. Your 8. Oh my gosh.
Oh, yeah.
He was outstanding.
On Dustin, there's a reason he's in the AG's COVID testing cycle right now.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Is that a fun fact that we should know? That's
maybe. Oh. Yeah, I think he's I think he's one of the most spectacular club players I've had the pleasure of playing with or against. I think
you played against and with some pretty. I mean, you played against.
Yeah. honestly.
USA Eagles.
Yeah, and no, he really truly has stood out to me as a guy that not only can do everything skill wise, but he does everything at 100 miles an hour, which is to me the biggest difference between club rugby and the professional rugby is that guys don't jog into things and they don't run a line half speed. They don't go into a tackle 75%. Everything is at 100% always, and I think he's equipped to play at that speed. And I think that honestly, I would hate to not have him on my team, but I think I speak for everybody in the Austin rugby community. Would love to see him get a shot with the AGs this year because he's a special player. And
what is
I
his
think
name? What's his actual name? What's
Patrick Coleman.
Patrick Coleman. Yeah. So do you know
against
Patrick's origin? Like, where's he from? Like,
yeah, so he's originally he was a basketball and football player in California.
Okay.
Went to San Diego State as like a walk-on football player and started playing rugby, I think 2 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a stud. And he was just playing out in Santa Barbara Academy, playing men's D3. And his coach sent him down. Yeah, and his coach sent him down to Austin and said, hey, I think you should head down to Austin. I think you got an opportunity to grow with one of the clubs down there. He actually was originally going to join the Blacks, but the Blacks weren't training in the summer, so he came out to the Huns, and I met him on that first day. Yeah, I know. I met him on that first day he came out to practice, and I was like, oh, I like this guy. Like, I'm definitely gonna make friends with him. And then from there he just got to know everyone, and he stuck around, and now he's kicking ass on the field, and he has a motto that he says every day, which is like, you'd think it's cliche, but he really says it every day, and it makes a difference. He's just like, every day, just 1% better, whatever you're doing, 1%.
That's
and it just kind of, and it's just a good trickle down effect.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, to the rest of the boys. But yeah, I mean, if you watch the HTX games we played, he had a 80-meter try in the first game against them, and then in the second game,
I remember that now.
And in the second game, he had a intercept that was about a 60-meter try. So he's just, the guy,
he's
can really
loose forward, Like, he mostly plays 8 or just loose forward?
No, he's been playing hooker for us.
I thought
I think this last week he played 8.
That's what I said. I thought he had an 8 on his back. So okay.
Yeah, this last week he was 8. But he does the line out throws.
Okay.
He's pretty spot on with his lineouts as well. So
it's always nice to have extra cover at the hooker position, given the AG's injuries and then the depth that we've had. So, but obviously, things are turning around for the injuries and the AGs, and we'll update that here in just a few minutes. So talk us a little bit about, it's been how long since the D1 side beat the Blacks?
So, until 2017, the year the Huns won the national championship, they had never beat the Blacks. Ever. And then since then, so they beat them twice that year, and then since then we haven't beat them at all. And the games have been getting closer and closer, but last year we got the closest it got was 10 points, and then fast forward a year, I think the Blacks have gone through a little bit of a rebuild. They've got a lot of young players coming in. I think maybe some of the older veterans have moved on, like Chris Bauman obviously is out in San Diego. Yeah, right. So I think it's just like the timing was right, where we've been building the same crew for the last 3 or 4 years under Adam, and then just slowly adding new guys into the fray, and it's just a really good thing we have going right now. And it doesn't mean anything if we go and lose this next week, I think. So
and where are you guys at this next week?
Playing the Reds up in Dallas, and they're looking really good this year too. So
they got a former AG on their team as well. So
Mikey,
the Fijian Godzilla. Mikey, Michele Nairatamanga. Is that how you say his last name? It's close. It's something. We just call it.
It's very hard to say.
We just call it, Nairamatanga. That's how you say his name. Yeah. as the former announcer last year, I should have known how to say his name since he played second row for
Yep.
us. But yeah, but he's a big dude too. But he's big Mikey's gotten, looks like he's been getting a lot fitter than he has been. You know,
Yeah,
in the
he
past.
looks.
The Reds look tough. They
look across the board a lot fitter than I've seen them. Like last year, I think last year was kind of their year for that rebuild.
Yeah.
The Huns had that in 2018 after the national championship year when obviously everyone moved to the elite.
Yep.
So the Huns had to go through that rebuild. Then the Reds didn't have a coach last year. They were player coached, and so they kind of went through their rebuild. The Quins have been rebuilding, and they're kind of back on the up. But it's a really
good.
It's a really exciting. I think it's a really exciting time right now for rugby in Texas. I think that the club scene is flourishing more than I have ever seen it. Obviously, with the D2 and D3 levels, haven't played as many games, but I think that the D1 teams are in a good spot, and I think it's really balanced. So it's cool to see. And there will not be an undefeated team at the end of this season. There's no way.
Yeah. Do you think, I'll ask you this, we'll kind of wrap things up talking about the club rugby with this one. Do you think that the increased rate, not increased rate, but the increased level of play from Huns, Blacks, everybody's starting to more parity between the teams? Do you think that's starting to happen because of Houston and Austin and eventually Dallas in the MLR and the MLR teams that are here? Like, people are flocking to Houston and Austin to play with, Rugby HTX. So they're going to Dallas knowing that they can, eventually maybe go play with Rugby HTX and whatnot. Do you think that's a big catalyst?
I think 100%. It's a massive catalyst. I think I can't remember who it was. It might have been Aaron Castro. Or somebody a couple years ago or a year ago. My monitor keeps getting unplugged or something. Did
you keep flashing on the screen and there's a delay, so it's always great. So anybody watching this is going to get a little bit of Tourette's for a second there.
Yeah, right.
You have to put a warning up on there, like,
don't get an aneurysm while you're at
it. May have flashes of bright lights. And
no, but to that point, no. I think it was Aaron Castro might have published an article about different pathways to Major League Rugby, and one of the pathways on there, which was about playing Division I men's rugby and getting recognized that way and preparing yourself for that men's contact. And I think that that's starting to really bear the fruits of its labor. And I mean, I just know, at least for the Huns, a lot of players that I've met, like Red, for instance, moved here thinking okay, I might have a shot at MLR if I improve myself on the D1 club scene, if I can, make connections, become a part of the community, and then ultimately just be a guy that can't be replaced, and a guy that is obviously valuable. And you're starting to see that with a lot of young players moving here. And I think something to note is that you're not necessarily going to come down and immediately get picked up by a pro side. It takes a couple of years.
Yeah.
Because you also always see those guys, I think that think that they're just going to come and immediately be MLR, right? And they think that they can bypass, the community aspect and the growing into the club scene. Well, and I think that
there's also a big difference between D1 and the MLR level, as you and I have talked about, the speed of the game.
Yeah.
I think everybody kind of. I talked about it with a couple AG players and former Austin Elite, former and other players around the country, just in conversation, and that's the D1 level and the play is competitive, but that next step into MLR is a stark difference. It is faster, it's efficient, it's levels beyond. And I don't like to I don't want to say they're a good example and put down any of the Austin teams or anything, because I don't do that. That's not me. I'm not an asshole. Well, at least not all the time. But so perfect examples last year when the AGs played the Blacks.
The Black. Yeah.
The Blacks, like, hey, we can play up in that level. We can play, and you had Chris Bauman, who was there as well, playing, other guys playing really well.
Right.
And there was it was bloody. Like, it was, the AGs, and it wasn't even like a full AG. You didn't have the, guys like Kurt Morath and Wapa weren't in yet. And, Will McGee wasn't here yet. So, like, it wasn't a full team. Like, they were still working on putting the guys together. Don McKenna was just still trying to figure out how to play, flanker and things like that. And it was bad. Like, it was a massacre. Not to be rude, but it's true. Like, we call a spade a spade. So, well, cool, man. That's awesome. Congrats to the Huns. 39-17, man. That's a big win. I know Billy O out there in California, he was watching along with me. Everybody else that was watching and commentating. The commentary was the second half commentary was interesting. I don't know who was on the mic, but they did not like the ref at all. They did not like the ref at all, and there were some calls in there that they did not care for so much. So yeah, there we go. Hey, hopefully soon we can just like get somebody out there and announcing the games and actually have like multiple cameras. I think that would be kind of fun with those guys over here at the Next Level Rugby here in town now. So in Austin. So Speaking of Next Level Rugby, look at that segue. All right. The AGs are on a whole nother level right now. They're on cloud freaking 9, 3 games in a row. First time in history Austin has had a winning streak. I know that sounds ridiculous. 2018, we didn't win a single game. 2019, we didn't win a single game. 2018, we won 2 in a row. And then it was a very close league that year. So, man, Alex, were you at the game? Were you on pins and needles when Mac Mason lined up a kick in the 81st minute?
Yeah, our whole family came to the game because my brother was playing for ATL. And so, like my folks were pulling for ATL, and the rest of the family was like we were torn because Ryan didn't come in till not till like the 65th minute. And so up until then we were happy to pull for the AGs, like all pull for that's our team. And then even after Ryan came in though, it was like so much crazy stuff happened, and it was such an awesome atmosphere that I was shamelessly pulling for the AGs in front of the family. I didn't care, but
hometown,
yeah, their hometown team. But yeah, I mean, honestly though, even when Mooneyham had that try, the rest of the family was going nuts because they're like, you know what, that's how with our team. We hope Ryan does great, but we'd like to see play here.
Escurza, man, that he really hey man, that's rugby, right? Sometimes the ball bounces your way and sometimes you completely miss the ball and it gets snatched up and scored for an amazing try. MLR try of the week, by the way, from Connor Mooneyham.
Yeah. Well, you know how many times guys will not chase that ball that hard, and if Mooneyham had literally taken a half second longer, he wouldn't have gone for that ball.
Because it was bouncing. It was bouncing back. He literally picked it up on the best bounce, at his chest. Yeah. And if he would have been a half second late on his, or at least a half speed slower, a quarter speed slower, Escurza would have picked it up because Escurza, he was like, "Oh shit, I dropped it. I completely botched it." Right. So, hey man, their loss, our gain. AG's win 17-15. Tries by Connor Mooneyham, which we talked about, and man. Talk about a dominating performance for 64 minutes by Isaac Ross. What a make an impact. God. Sweet Jesus, was he awesome. That makes me sad because he's 36 years old, which means he's not that much younger than I am, and he's playing like that. Good God. I mean,
he looks like he's 19.
Oh God. I mean, yeah, he's again, what is it, 6'7", 6'8", something like that. And just I tell you what, so just going back to the first half, Austin has only, here's a fun stat for you, and if you're a statistician, Austin has only given up 3 points in the first 20 minutes of a match the entire season. Talk about dominating, straight out the gate, dominating. 3 points I forget, I can't go back and remember who it was in the first 20 minutes. Now we tend to give up points. We actually give up most of our points at the end in the last 20, which is not a great thing. We need to fix that a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a little questionable. But only give up 3 points. We've only given up 5 points in the first half in the last 3 games, and that was the try that that Van Rensburg had at the end of the first half against Austin this past week for ATL. So we jump out the gate. Isaac Ross scores a try on a beautiful maul. Again, scoring from set pieces, which has been big. It happened early, and I think the great part when it happened, you kind of saw something you hadn't seen normally, and that was a lot of interlinking play, forwards and backs going through. You saw, Austin score when they had the ball in the attacking 22, which was great. And so like, oh, this is fantastic. We continue to dominate. And I think I've heard it in some places. Austin makes other teams play down. They say they play down to their level. Like they make other teams look ugly. Like Atlanta was a top scoring team. Houston, you can look at what Houston's done in the past 2 weeks after we played and shut them out. Like they went on and scored a boatload, against
the same thing.
Yeah, exactly. Like all these, it's like they're not playing down to our level. Like our defense is just that stifling. That that's I think it's the rugby league aspect and kind of this pressure defense that Coach Harris puts out there. So we played fantastic in the first half, and then it kind of got a little stagnant around the middle, and you got 2 back-to-back tries, not quickly, but in succession for ATL that put it at a it was just questionable. Like we let Mark O'Keefe run everywhere. Like that guy was, he made the team of the week without a shadow of a doubt because he was fantastic, but we just kind of let him run at will. And I think that was a little scary from a defensive perspective. Like we gave up 648 meters and 9 line breaks. Like that's the most line breaks we've given up all season. It's even though they didn't make the gain line that often, when they did, it was through the line. Like, and that was kind of worrisome for us. When you look at, we had we missed 36 tackles. So this week the defense actually wasn't as good as it has been in previous weeks, but we still won.
Well, where it seemed like we really stifled them was they had a lot of opportunities and we just pinched their lineouts.
Yeah,
Isaac Ross was just causing them havoc.
Yeah, two steals inside the attacking 22, or our defensive 22, ATL attacking 22, and 1 inside the 5. Like.
Yeah,
we challenged it. The first line that was bad. Yeah,
that's 10, 14 points, honestly. Because
absolutely.
When ATL does get inside the 22 and they run through their phases, they are efficient. Like they have. To me, that was something that I would like to see us try to sharpen before this weekend. Is like when we got into the 22, it was very like. I don't know. It just never really seemed like we were about to go score.
Yeah.
When ATL got inside the 22, when they were like going ball in hand, it was like, it was just like boom, 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 moving forward, just hitting you here, hitting you here, hitting you here, and then all of a sudden Mark O'Keefe is just free by himself in the end zone.
Yeah.
Like,
I think we just got overloaded on his try in the second half. We just got overloaded on the inside and didn't really pay attention to what was going in, what was going in the other way. So that's kind of. Yeah, that's good.
Of course, I think any time you play a Scott Lawrence coach team, it's going to be really, really hard to score, especially when you get around the goal line, because that's what they do. Is Scott Lawrence is probably the best defensive coach, American defensive coach.
It's
ever
solid.
almost.
Listen, I think ATL played a really good game. For a lot of parts, they had good backline play. I think we actually, for the first time all season, we ran through phases, and then we had really good ball out into the backline. Connor got the ball, often, obviously 154 meters, carried on 12 runs. And, Bryce Campbell, I saw better line running from Bryce this week, looked really good, but he got the ball out in space. there was a nice run by Maclean Jones, and he kind of threw the ball away. Like Connor was like 2 or 3 meters behind where the ball was. Like, oh,
close.
Yeah, but here's the thing, and it still keeps haunting us, is that we just inside the attacking 22, we've been poor. Like, we've been really poor. Like, you think of the amount of times that we were actually inside the 22, and
a lot,
and just came up with a goose egg.
Do we have stats on our red zone efficiency?
I don't know. It's not on what I'm looking at right now, so it's not great. I can tell you that. Because Connor's try wasn't red zone, because that was from counterattack.
We were very.
The only red zone would be Isaac Ross's. So if you think of one for whatever we were at,
yeah,
maybe
we were very insistent again on. We were very insistent again on not taking the points.
Yeah, going for a line out or something like.
It's the same problem that we keep. It's every single week we're turning down points, and I think we're just making the game tougher on us than we need to. Because I think with the way that we play, building points and keeping the scoreboard ticking, like making the other teams chase us, is kind of, I think, like,
especially when you have the number one defense in the league.
Yeah,
right? Like, just make a team play. Like, let them try to make the mistakes.
If we can start building like a 9-12 point lead on taking the points, like I trust our defense, and I trust our set piece as well to just choke teams out of the game, kind of like South Africa does.
Yeah, exactly. And here's the thing: like, we did that against Houston. Like, we took points on offer. Kept the clock, kept the scoreboard ticking over, as we've said multiple times, and then, we look at the final score of that game. We shut.
I think we actually didn't kick a penalty in that game.
No, we. I mean, sorry. Did we kick a penalty?
You meant Nola.
I meant Nola. Sorry, excuse me.
Yeah, Nola.
Yeah, sorry. Yes. My bad. Yeah, Nola. Yeah, because we kicked for quite a few times. Well, I say quite a few, but as many times as we should have been kicking. But anyway, yeah. Sorry, brain fart.
No, it's okay. A rare brain fart. You're usually pretty on it.
It happens all the time. I just hide it really well. I just get it bullshitting. Oh man. Any other? So let's take your top 3 players of the week. I know who mine were. I know who all the fans have voted on. They'll come out tomorrow for the Gilgoniac players of the week. There was not one person that voted, because there were a few that we had like 12 people vote. Every single person had the same 3 people, and it's pretty easy to pick them.
I think you have to go with Isaac Ross, Mooneyham, and Mac Mason.
Yeah, that's everybody put those 3, because it was
how do you not?
I will say this. All credit to Michael DeWall. Special recognition of Michael DeWall and for Maclean Jones and Dominic Bate. Like, our loose forwards are outstanding. Like, and Mo and Dom McKean really just haven't been playing that often. Of course, Michael DeWall last week was playing at lock and second row, and not his normal position at 8 or flanker. So, but putting in the total number of minutes, he's played every single minute of the season.
Who has, Michael?
Yeah.
Dang.
I know, right? So
that's amazing.
Mac Mason, Connor Mooneyham, and Michael DeWall all have played. I believe that's the right stat, and I'm going to be upset if I didn't get that right. But I'm like 99% sure that all 3 of those have played.
Did Michael DeWall? I thought he came in the first game off the bench, and then.
I know. I had to go back and look.
But that's pretty.
If not, it's been pretty damn close. I know for sure that Mac Mason and Connor Mooneyham have played every single minute of every match, which is also, it's pretty impressive for for guys on the wing. Like, that's a lot of running. And so anyway, final score. Yeah, those are my 3 too. I thought they played fantastic.
You know what? Hey,
you guys,
Dustin,
go for it. Alex.
Yeah,
I'm listening.
Big shout out. You know what? Who deserves a big shout out? I think that a play that went very unnoticed. I think it was Cole Davis. It might have been Ned Hodson, but I think it was Cole Davis. after ATL had hit their penalty to go up by 1, we had the restart, and the restart wasn't very contestable, and ATL came down with it. And I think it's Cole Davis. Was it Cole Davis that stripped the ATL player in the tackle to give us the ball back with about 35 seconds to go in the game?
It was
I think it was Cole Davis.
Oh crap! I'm looking at my stats right now. Give me 2 seconds and I'll pull it back up. Somewhere. As you're listening, nothing else is going on. We're just trying to figure out what this was.
Yeah. I think it was.
I don't have it I don't have the stats for that to say that it was Cole.
I may have to I'm gonna have to pull it up on Rugby Network.
You pull it up and we'll go on to this next week. But yeah, I mean, obviously that was a big play because
we're going to have to get by a very good Atlanta team tonight if they're going to do so. AP Rugby's one of the original.
We're just going to mute Alex there real quick. So is that...
Oops. Sorry, viewers at home.
Please excuse the malfunction there on Alex's end. There we are. We're 3-2, first time over 500 in team history. By the way, do you know that?
Is it really?
Yeah, they lost the first 2 games of the season in year 1, I believe, and then they won the next 2, and then they lost like 2 more or something like that. I think is what it was. Coming in, obviously number 1 defense in the league. Go ahead. Are you ready? Who was it?
It was Ned Hodson.
It was Ned? Okay. There you go. Congratulations, Ned Hodson.
Cole Davis was also in on the tackle, but it was Ned Hodson.
I will say this. If you go back and watch the AG's social media clip of the kick that Mac Mason had, I don't think he would have gotten it because it would have gone on the back of the try zone. But if we'd had a normal try zone, Cole Davis was actually almost under the goalposts.
I know.
When the ball goes through. So if they would have missed, and I said, what are the chances it bounce off the bar, you catch it and score a try and win that way? And he said, well, that would have been pretty incredible. I was like, no shit. So anyway, coming in this week, obviously we've got 2-time defending champions, the Seattle Seawolves. It's not your typical Seawolves team. It's not the team that's been there. We kind of saw whispers of it happening last year in some of the games they played, but right now in the West, Seattle's sitting at 1-3, bottom. Yeah, they got a negative -77 point differentiation. They're just, that's tough. They're not the team that they've been playing. They looked, granted they played at Life University in Atlanta against Toronto, since Toronto's playing out here, and the times they played at 10 o'clock in the morning or 7 o'clock in the morning,
right? Which is 8 o'clock Seattle time.
7:30, 8 o'clock, and it was just they looked like it. They looked bad. It was just sad to watch because that Seattle can play better than that. They've got good players. It just hasn't been. It hasn't been there. Head-to-head comparison, we've got, they are the worst attacking team and the worst defensive team in the league right now. We're not better at attack, though. We're 10th. So we're just sitting top, but we are first in defense. So it'll be interesting to see kind of how we end up playing. I think that, guys you always got to watch out for Seattle. Obviously, Reichert. He's a tough man. I think that Matt Turner has been playing lights out recently for Seattle when he gets ball in hand. So I think it's for us, we've got to make sure that we stop them. They have a good scrum. We say this, teams we go up against have a good scrum. Atlanta had a good scrum, Nola had a good scrum, and we do very well, but we lost a couple this past week and we shouldn't have. I think it's going to be an interesting lineup. I think for those listening, it seems as though Isaac Ross's injury when he went off is not as bad as it seems, and it was just a bit scary. And he said it hurt, but from what I hear, it looks like we may get that second row pairing that we've been waiting for since we heard that Isaac Ross was coming here, and Sebastian De Chavez and Isaac Ross. Oh man. To be a prop in that front row and have those two guys behind you, jeez. I think for us, we're getting players back from injury. We had all the injuries at the beginning of the season. We had, COVID scares at the beginning of the season and stuff that were for some people. But right now, everybody's kind of coming back. Zinni's supposed to be getting well. I wouldn't be surprised if we see him on the bench this week with his hand injury. We saw Cam Dodson come back last week, so that was pretty exciting too. He filled in really well when Isaac went out. Played the last 25 minutes or so and did really well, or 15 minutes, excuse me, because I can't do math right. 25 minutes, but yeah, I think that it's going to be interesting. What are you thinking right now if you're looking at Seattle and you're looking at that, the loss that you just come off of, the way that they played the past couple games? I mean, their only win of the season, oh crap, I just forgot who it was actually against Utah, who we lost to, right? Yeah. So that was week 2 or week.
You see that sometimes though, where like, you look back on a season, it's like, a team that finishes pretty high on the table is like, damn, how'd they lose to so-and-so early on in the year? Like
every given week.
And I think also like that early season games, it's like everyone's still figuring out who they are.
Yeah.
And it's always going to take like about 5-6 weeks. You see it in the NFL too, of like, you start to see who are the contenders and who are the pretenders. And I think,
especially when you don't have a preseason or an extended preseason like we've had in the past.
I think that this game is it's not as tough of a game, I don't think, but it's more important game than I think we've ever really had for the AGs, where this is an opportunity for us to like finally come in as a favorite in a game and prove that like, we have taken that next step and we are ready to become a contender and defeat the teams that we should defeat. And I would love to see us, put it on Seattle. I don't think that Seattle will play nearly as poorly as they did a week ago.
Yeah.
I think we're going to be in for a dogfight, but I'd love to see us finally just like grab hold of, some success and own it.
Yeah. And I think I'll use the word ruthless inside the 22. When we get attacked, we need to stop losing the ball, like handling errors, killing us inside the 22. Just penalties, diving over the ruck has been one, coming in from the side. Like these are bad penalties that we shouldn't be making. Make the if the other team forces it, great. Or if we something happens where kick the ball out of play, we do a crossfield kick like you love. Just one of those things. Like we just have to be more efficient inside the red zone. It's just plain and simple, right? Like we can't. Our defense is great. This past week, we saw the interlinking play between our back line that looks like things are starting to happen. Hopefully we get Frank Halai's coming back here soon from injury. Jeff Hassler's probably not coming back from injury anytime soon. We just added. Oh crap.
Johnson.
Nate Johnson. So who was at Colorado. So more speed onto the wing. It's good cover. Obviously with Mooneyham and Mac Mason already playing every minute of every game, you got to give guys rest, right? Like, so we need that depth that we're getting is going to be important, that we continue to get everybody back and playing at full speed. You got a score prediction? Do you want to throw one out there? What are you thinking this week, Alex?
I'm gonna go with 27.
We were a little over this past week, by the way. Yeah, a little higher than
I thought. You were pretty close, weren't you?
I was closer.
What'd you say?
I think I said like 20. I think I said 25-18. I don't remember what it was.
Yeah. I think I went for a high score.
I know.
I think
which is what I'm going to do this week.
I'm going 27-7.
27-7. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I was.
There's nothing to me. There's nothing I've seen from Seattle's attack right now that says
it's discombobulated. Honestly, they couldn't. I've watched, and it's not just the. I went back and watched the match against Utah. They have a hard time. When they won against Utah only 2015, like it wasn't a high scoring game. Like it was kind of like our game. But they had a hard time getting past phase 3. Like they can't They couldn't get past 3 phases, and at 3 phases they were barely hitting the gain line. And that kind of goes in, like, they don't, their gain line is only I think it was like 70. Well, I guess their gain line overs is 76%. So that's not too bad, but they just were kind of at the gain line every time. They weren't really attacking. So we'll see. My score prediction, and I know that you like to think that I'm a little more on the conservative side, which I usually do go, but I'm going 31-10.
Very close. Very similar.
Wait, what did you say? Hold on.
27-7.
27-7. Yeah, I think it's going to be 31-10. I think that I think this is the week where everybody's just going to start clicking, which we need to. Like, we need just everybody to continue to click. I think we found our style of play. It may not be flashy all the time. It's just going to be hard nose, in your face, that pressure, rush up defense type of thing. So that's what I got. Well, we should ask Maclean Jones, Maclean Jones, not Maclean Jones. It's not Maclean Jones. I found out it's not Macca Jones. It's Maclean Jones, like John McClane from
Nice.
from Die Hard. So Maclean Jones, he's coming up right now on the podcast. Tune right back in just a few minutes here. Well, as Alex and I talked about just a bit ago, it's been a solid season for us. Minus the first 2 games. Just man, can you imagine? Like, we're 5 points away from, combined 5 points away from being 5-0, and that's just nuts. And I think there's a true testament to some of the players that Alex and I talked about. We talked about Michael DeWalls being really solid. We talked about Dominique Bailey, obviously being right up there and he's got the most tackles in the league and things like that. And there's the core of the loose forwards. Actually, it's not a core, but all 5 of them or 6 of them have been just outstanding the entire season. And I think our loose forwards have been the key to our defense this entire season. And so I said, well, it's time to bring on more loose forwards. We had Michael DeWall last week. Time to bring on another one. And we're going to bring on somebody whose name keeps getting mispronounced by everybody, and we're going to get it right. And of course, we're going to tell Kit McConico too that it's not Macca Jones, it's Maclean Jones. So, Maclean, what's going on, man?
Hey, how you going?
So
yeah,
we get it right.
Jones, yeah.
Maclean Jones, not McLean.
Not the easiest. But
yeah,
not McLean.
But your play has been clean. Well, you get a couple penalties, but we'll.
Few penalties. Yeah. I mean, it can be clean.
Yeah, right. Well, hey man, we really appreciate you coming on. It's been an interesting kind of ride for you over like the past, we'll call it like year and a half or so, because technically we had signed you, or you were right about to come over, waiting on visa approval last season, right before COVID, and then that hit and kind of like put a damper on everything. How close were you? Were your bags packed and ready to go?
My bags weren't packed. I was in Brisbane at the time, saying goodbye to mum and dad and friends back there. So I was probably a week off going. It's been a long time coming. Almost 12 months. Yeah. Since then, so yeah, it's been a long time coming, and I'm loving it at the moment.
Yeah, it's good. It's good really stuff. I mean, obviously, defensive wise, like, you are one of the top 10 leaders in tackles and ruck arrivals, and there's like a whole list of other things, like had some dominant tackles. You're up there as well. So obviously, what do you guys attest to? What you're testing right now, just kind of start everything off, like the outstanding defense that we've had as a team, and just the loose forwards in general. Like, everybody is just on point is the way that I'll phrase it right now.
Yeah, well, Sammy Harris is our defensive coach. He's given us freedom to sort of fly off the line. He's called it a rush defense.
Yeah.
He's given us the freedom to rush off the line. If we're marking a player, we aim on that player. We try to take that player out. So he's given us back rowers the freedom to sort of lead that. And as a group, we're pretty close off the field, and we love playing with each other on the field. So it's worked out really well. My connection with DeWall and Dommy B, loving playing together. So
yeah.
Let's hope that keeps going.
Yeah, and exactly. Well, then of course you got Damakina who's coming back from injury, Mo Abdomino who's coming back from injury. So like each one of you, minus putting Mo at 8, I think can play each other's position, which I think is really nice.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mo, I know that you're sad that you can't play 8, but I just don't see it there, brother. I just don't see it.
He's a bit too short,
He's a bit on the short side for an 8. So
yeah.
But that's I think that's a true testament. Do you think that I've been kind of harping on this. Do you think that this rush defense comes from Coach Harris's rugby league days, where you kind of need that rush defense to stop people from reaching that gain line, basically?
I think it might be.
This is my theory.
I'm
I just want someone to say yes.
I'm gonna say yes. Let's go with that. But no, it's a great. One of the best Simpsons I've been a part of. Yeah. It just gives you the freedom just to run off the line and wax on, which is why we play the game. So your game is like I say, when I saw you play your first match preseason, I was like, he's just gonna run around and just tackle people, like just destroy people. Now, granted, in the match against Houston in the preseason, I did think you had probably one of the best finishes in Major League, probably for the year, try of the year, by the way. Since we did get it on film of your diving catch into the try zone in Houston. Again, another Mac Mason pinpoint kick, good connection there. And then unfortunately, it was just a preseason game. Still waiting on that regular season try. I'm still waiting for another kick. I'll ask Max to give me another one this week.
Yeah, he keeps giving it to everybody else for some reason. I don't know why. Or just doing it himself, right?
I think it's sit on the wing and wait for my turn, I think.
Yeah, there you go. So, obviously we kind of talked briefly about Mac Mason, but I mean, growing up, playing in Australia, you've come up through the ranks. You're at the Waratahs, you're with the Reds. You're with, you have that connection with Coach Harris and Coach Gerard with Warringah, kind of the Rats and everything, working with the Rats, and then also with Mac and just coming over. What's been your path kind of to here now, and kind of what kind of drew you to Austin? Was it that Warringah connection with Sam and Mark, or was it just something else that says, I need to come over here and play now?
In terms of my decision to come here, I think it was a bit of a no-brainer. I wanted to change up with my rugby, and the MLR was definitely on my radar. It's been a growing comp for a few years now, so definitely that change up, freshen up, drew me here, and then as well as both coaches being good Warringah Rats men, sort of made my decision pretty easy. And with Mac, I met Mac when I was probably 14. We played against each other, and then under 16s we played Queensland together. We were good mates then, and then played the under 20s together as well. So
yeah, I mean, obviously,
that was that. Yeah.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, that obviously factored in as well.
Yeah.
So we've got a great connection, me and him.
You guys, I mean, obviously you played, U20s with him for, was it 2 years together? And then you were at the World Champions in 2017. Another historic win for you guys. Well, in consideration for against the New Zealand team, Mac again, very, very poignantly has a game-winning kick at the end. But obviously, you guys have been playing together for a while. Do you feel like, even though you maybe had not played together in the past 2 or 3 years, like, did you feel like there was always kind of this connection when you guys are on the field?
Yeah, definitely. We're still good mates. Like, even in Sydney, we'd catch up for a beer. Both our partners are friends, so we're always together. Always had that friendship.
Nice.
He's been kicking game-winning penalties for me
for a while.
With my team for a long time, so it doesn't really surprise me. We'll keep doing that.
We'll keep taking that, right?
Yeah.
So, you said,
he's good.
Obviously Mac was one of the signings this year. Did you have any kind of influence in kind of chatting with him and saying, hey, man, you should, have a chance to come over here and play with us here in Austin?
Yeah, he was in a similar boat with me. He was, a bit of a crossroads in his career. And he was looking for a fresh start as well. And yeah, he asked me what influenced me to go time with Austin, and he had the same factors influenced him. So I know he's not regretting the decision. He's loving it as well, and we've both got a new lease on our footy careers. So
for sure, I think so.
Yeah, we're loving it.
I mean, it's good to see. Obviously, there's the growth of the sport, the recognition of the sport, the level of play, the quality of play, I should say, has drastically increased in the past, since season 1. Basically, having people like yourself and Mac Mason come over, and obviously, the American quality has kind of stepped up too here in the U.S. We talk about that with like Don McKenna, somebody fresh to the sport who just started playing a couple years ago, as opposed to when was the first time you ever picked up the footy?
Me
2, 1.
Yeah, my mum always says Dad put a footy in my hand when I was 3. Yeah, 2 or 3. So very young.
So you've had it for a while.
I had footy posts in the backyard.
Yeah,
footy posts in the backyard when I was 5 or 6. So.
Did you always want to play
compared to Don McKenna?
Did you always want to play a loose forward position, or was it did you want to be like a fly half, or or a fullback?
I played rugby league growing up. I played 5'8", which is similar to how the fly half plays. So I was probably a fly half until I was 14, 15. So I guess I had to learn those back row skills late, but I was always a good defender and loved defending. So I was destined to be a back row, I guess.
Yeah. I didn't know that you were a league player, Glenn. So that's kind of interesting, because Mac was also a league player. Sam played league. Mark played league. Is this just kind of growing up in Sydney or in Australia in general? Do you find that most youth start off playing league and then make the union switch?
For me, because union you don't start tackling until under 12, under 10s, I think it's changed now. But in league, you start tackling when you're really young. I guess, my dad sort of said to me,
go tackle somebody.
If you want to start tackling, you can start early. Yeah, start early. Yeah. Get your practice in.
That's interesting.
And I loved rugby league growing up, so yeah.
Do you still follow? Are you still a fan? Who's your team if you're rooting for anybody in the NRL?
NRL, St George Dragons.
LR, yeah.
Whole family, majority of my family goes to the Dragons, so
yeah, that's okay.
The Red V.
Listen, our podcast is the Austin Rugby Podcast, and we actually, I don't know if you know about this, but we talked about it the past 2 weeks. There's a new North American Rugby League starting here this year. So there's Rugby League has now made its way on the national level, sort of low key national level.
I haven't heard much about it, but
yeah,
there you go.
Austin has a team. I think the seasons overlap, so we couldn't see a lot of AG players go play for the Armadillos, which I thought would be very.
Yeah, it'd be cool if we could double up a bit.
Oh yeah, right.
Maybe play a hybrid game between union and league.
Yeah, there you go. That's good stuff. So obviously, like you said, you put in the minutes this year. Your play. We talked about it earlier in the podcast. It's we're just trying to get things right nonstop. Like I think the back line is now starting to click a little bit better. Talk to us a little bit about going into each week. What the main focus has been. Obviously, not giving away tactics or anything, because we definitely don't want Coach Harris to get upset with the podcast. But just thinking about like this Sunday, the way you're coming into things, the way you guys have been approaching each match, and how you kind of set up what you're going to be working on. That entire week with practice.
We've got a mindset where we review the previous game's week, on a Monday morning. After we review that game, we sort of forget about it. Yeah. We focus on the next week. So we review the game Monday morning. Then we start previewing the following week's game Monday after. So, we review that week, we forget about that week, and then we move on to the next. And, slowly build, that week into the weekend. And the coach Semi's really good at that. He's really good at getting our attitudes right and what we need to be focusing on early in the week, so we can wrap our heads around it. Yeah. And everyone's got a lot of clarity going into the weekend.
Nice. Well, that's always good to have that kind of that clarity, if you will. You talk about freedom of play. When you're out there on the pitch, there's so many leaders that have years of experience from Bryce Campbell to to Wapa to Seb, Sebastian de Chavez. Sorry, I just started calling him Seb because he's just got a long name. So, but who are you turning to as kind of maybe not mentor, but somebody that you're really listening to right now, when it comes to just on-field play and just becoming a better overall professional?
Whopper's been huge for me. Jamie McIntosh, we get along really well, me and him. So he's been a professional footy player for, I don't know, probably 16 years now. So just the way he goes day in, day out, it's great to listen to. He's got some awesome stories.
I can imagine.
As you can imagine. But just the in and outs of how to be a better professional. Every day.
Nice. So I'm always curious about quite a few different things. So I'm going to ask you a bunch of just random questions, if you will.
Go for it.
So we're obviously there's a hot competition at each position, but if you could bring over one current Australian player to play with Austin, who are you bringing over to play with you, and why?
Oh,
I know. I don't know how many mates you got playing, over there. Like, oh, I really want to. Yeah, I can't forget him.
Yeah, that's a tough one. Maybe one of my good mates, Jake Gordon.
Yeah.
Current Waratahs captain.
Mm-hmm.
He's an awesome player. Probably one of the best halfbacks in the country. Probably another bloke is Suli Vunivalu, New Red winger. Yeah. Used to play for the Melbourne Storm.
Yeah.
He'd be insane over here. His finishing ability he has.
Yeah, he'd be a bit of a monster over here, I think, sometimes.
Oh man, incredible to watch.
He's prime right now.
He's in his prime, that's for sure.
Yeah, his form is
yeah,
his form is outstanding in Super Rugby right now.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
Crazy.
With that. If you had a chance if you get called back and get a chance to go play Super Rugby, who's the team you're not going to go play for?
The team I'm not going to play for.
Yeah.
That's a tough one.
I know. It's like you get a chance to play Super Rugby, you want to play with everybody, but who would you like?
Anyone.
I don't know if I want to go play with them.
It's a tough one. I have no idea. Can't say no to anyone.
Yeah, right. So do you still have allegiances to the Tars?
I've got allegiances to the Tars. Got a lot of mates there. Obviously, I was born in Queensland. Got a lot of mates with the Reds as well.
Yeah.
I'd love to live in Perth and play over there. I got mates in Melbourne, so
it's kind of isolated out there in Perth. I had a buddy who lived there.
It is. That's maybe a good thing.
Yeah. Maybe the Western Force. Okay, so we'll just mark it. We'll say it's Western Force.
We'll go with that.
Yeah, that's good. So this, obviously the season's going well. Things have been going good for you guys. What game are you scoring your first try in?
I'll talk to Mac, mate. So I'll talk to Mac after this, and I'm going to say this weekend.
This weekend? Okay, Seattle. So
I'm going to put my hand up and we'll get a Coxfield kick going.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, you heard it here first. Coxfield kick this weekend.
There you go. So you said that. Yeah, the Wapa's got some of the best stories. Who's the biggest storyteller? And when I mean storyteller, is like who stretches his stories a little bit long, as far as maybe bragging a little bit on the team right now.
That's an easy one, and it's Jake Turnbull. When he's telling a story, I don't know if it's true or not, but God, they drag on. They're good quality stories, to be fair.
Yeah, it's like, wait a minute, Jake, it's too much information and it's too well thought out that it's actually a true story. Jake Turnbull listens to every podcast, so we'll make sure that he gets a good shout out. Jake putting in the work on stories as well as on the pitch, right?
He's a good lad. He's one of my best mates here. He's a good lad, but he can stretch a story.
Another guy, was over in playing in the shoot shield with everybody too. So did you play against Jake last season? Like when you were playing again?
No, I never got to play him. No, never fortunate enough to play Jakey. I met him at a party in Sydney. First time I met him.
Did you guys know that you were both coming over here at that time?
Yeah, we both knew at that stage.
Yeah, that's good.
So we could have a good yarn about the things to come.
Yeah.
But no, I was unfortunate not to play against him. No.
Yeah. Okay.
Or unfortunate.
Yeah, unfortunate. Yeah, I mean, he's a bruiser, man. Okay, next question for you. You're a rat, Coach Harris, Coach Gerard are rats. Who's the greatest rat of all time?
Greatest rat of all time.
Who's the greatest Warringah rat of all time? This isn't a trick question to get you in trouble with Mark or Sam. So
I'll play with some great rats. I'm going to have to go with Josh Huns.
Josh Huns.
Recently retired Josh Huns. Just probably one of the best football players that I've ever played with.
Yeah.
Naturally gifted. I think a lot of people will tell you that as well. He's one of the most naturally gifted players you'll ever see. So
that's awesome.
Going to go with him.
Well, we like to. Those are, we're just not trying to ruffle any feathers or anything. We're just curious. So, final question. Australia big on barbecue, big on a lot of guys like to do the cooking. We got the South Africans doing the braais. We got the Chileans cooking, grilling out. Is outside of Australia, who's got the best barbecue?
Outside of Australia, I'm gonna say Chile.
Can't be a hometown fan on that one.
No,
Chile?
I'm gonna say Chile. Yep.
All right.
And my next door neighbour Marcelo Torrealba can cook a wicked barbecue.
Yeah. All right.
Ask any of the boys. Yeah.
Have you been eating any of Robbie and Michael's biltong that they've been making here recently?
I have. I've spent $150 on that. So.
Wow.
My girlfriend sort of told me to stop eating it.
Stop eating.
It's awesome.
Packing on a couple extra pounds for the biltong, yeah.
Yeah. I think I'm limited to a packet a week. This week.
The good thing is I just acquired my first 2 packages today. So
today.
Yeah. So it'll be.
Well, let me know how it is because I'm willing to buy another batch. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. We're gonna get in every HEB around town. So have you had a chance to have any barbecue here in Austin yet? Any Texas barbecue?
I've been to Salt Lake.
Yeah. Okay.
Been there twice. The all-you-can-eat setup.
Oh, great.
It's incredible.
You're a brave soul.
That's something you do. That's something you do once a month. You can't do that too often.
Yeah. There you go. Kind of close things out. I always allow everybody just to say hey, give a nod to whoever they want to say hey to, and then we appreciate you having come on. So the floor is yours, my friend.
The floor is mine. Just to say hi to anyone I want.
Yeah, sure. I don't. The millions of people who listen to the podcast, and then of course you have all your family back home.
27 million Australians.
Yeah, there you go. I hope they all listen. That would be amazing.
My mum and dad, Catherine and Michael, who I'm missing a lot. My 4 brothers, Jacob, Declan, Mackenzie, and Michael. So, hey boys, and hey mum, missing you all.
Good stuff. Anything else?
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, for sure, man. No, this is what we do. We bring you guys on, shoot the shit for a little bit, talk about rugby, talk about life, learn about what's going on in your career, and hopefully, obviously, we want to continue to see you perform well on the pitch, which I'm very sure that you will. Again, work rate is super high. I keep hoping that someday I'm going to see your name on that MLR 15 of the week. A couple of weeks, I'm kind of disappointed that I thought it was the week. Like, man, dominant tackles, 20 tackles, 100% tackle rate. I'm like, come on, guys. you get beat out by what's that? You get beat out by somebody who's yeah, right. So, some flanker who scored a try. I don't know.
Yeah, that's why. I think that's what I look for. I look for the try.
That's why we're hoping for that try this week and that win over Seattle.
Yeah.
So. Well,
fingers crossed.
Not Macca Jones, not Maclean Jones. Maclean Jones. Thanks for coming on, man. We really appreciate it. Good luck this weekend against Seattle, and we can't wait to see what's happening in the coming weeks, man.
No worries, dude. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Cheers.
See you, bud.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget you can always get your own personal Gilgoniac merchandise. We've got hoodies, we've got tank tops, we've got t-shirts, we've got just about everything you could need as a Gilgoniac supporter on the website. Dustin, what's the website name?
Alex, that website name is therugbyshop.com/collections/Austin supporters group. Of course, who doesn't want to be a Gilgoniac? Hey, Alex, don't forget. I know you don't, but 100% going to the We're Texas, the Just Keep Living Foundation by Matthew McConaughey, going to help those families who have been impacted by the winter storm here in Texas. There's also the Rugby for Texas line. So if you want more t-shirts and stuff, all of that goes to it. It's good stuff. We're happy about it. We actually have people ordering it. It's kind of exciting. Somebody said that we have an order from Australia, which that is very exciting. But yeah, love the guys at the Rugby Shop, what they did. It's been an exciting couple of weeks of rugby here, Alex. We have no updates. I do have one slight update on the Austin Armadillos. We'll throw that in there for those guys. Austin Armadillos. Yeah. We're going to do a bonus podcast episode with them recording next week. So if you have questions about NARL, the North American Rugby League, and what rugby league is, you can find it on Facebook and Instagram, and on the NARL Reddit page and Facebook pages. There's a fan zone on there. I posted on there. Like, if you have questions about it, post. We'll try to ask it to them and get it on there. Alex, we're slowly becoming the official podcast of the NARL right now because we're the only ones covering them at the moment. So
we're trailblazers.
Exactly, man. Hey, Alex.
Hey, Justin.
What do you got, man?
Hey, quick reminder for fans that don't know, game this Sunday, $5 tickets.
How did we forget to mention that it's Sunday?
And it is on Sunday, and $5 and 6 o'clock kickoff.
6 o'clock kickoff. That's right.
We do 7. Yeah. This week it's 6 o'clock.
Yeah, 6 o'clock. So it's an earlier game. So you get a little more of that evening sunshine. Weather forecast for Sunday, 87 and sunny. Oh, what a beautiful day for rugby. It's hopefully gonna rain tonight, so that we get a little bit of moisture in the ground. So it's a nice soft pitch to run on. I'm excited. I'm going to do my best to come out to the game on Sunday. I may have to be distant from everybody, sitting all by my lonesome, but that's okay.
I got my vaccine, so you can come sit next to me.
I got round 1. We're waiting. Round 2 is next Friday. I'm gonna be miserable. Moderna kicking me in the pants. Yeah. Hopefully we end up kicking Seattle in the pants. Alex, good luck this week against the Reds. You got the Blacks and the Blacks playing. I think the Blacks are playing again this week as well.
They got HTX at home.
HTX at home. So if you want to go out to Burfield and watch them, go out and check out the Blacks this week. For all the news and information around the Austin rugby community, the Austin rugby scene, what's going on, you can check us out on Austin Rugby Supporters on Facebook, on Instagram. It's the same tag. It's the same one. Just follow us. And if you want to write, it's usually me that answers it. Actually, 99% of the time, it's me that answers it. So feel free to give it out. If you want to come yell at me, tell me I'm terrible. Tell Alex how can you miss a kick like that and botch it so bad. Whatever. You do it. We appreciate it. I just forgot what I was going to say. That's terrible. There was something else I was going to say, but forgot about it. But here's the thing.
Hey, I'll finish up for you, Dustin.
Go for it, man. I'm ready.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, the weather's heating up, and so are the AGs. Let's get out there on Sunday, support the boys, and let's make it 4 in a row. Hottest team in the league.
Hottest team in the league, except for that other Gil team, which we're going to take on in a couple weeks and put them down. Yeah. They're not the hottest team in the league. We're going to get them. For Alex Reese, I'm Dustin Zare. Thanks for joining us on the Austin Rugby Podcast, on Spotify, and on YouTube. Until next time, we'll see you on the pitch.